Hi Taurus, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome if this is your first time here. So you might hear a bit of an echo in this video because I am traveling for the holidays. So I am at my sister's house and it is a bit empty in the room that I'm filming in, so you might hear an echo, but I think it should be okay. So this is going to be for Taurus, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus signs. And I'll also be doing an extended video, so make sure you check that out when you're finished with this one. And I will leave that in the description box down below. All right, Taurus. So a lot of you have been commenting on my Instagram, commenting on my YouTube videos, asking where the Taurus reading is. So I feel like I'm picking up your energy very heavily. When I was meditating on your energy earlier, I felt very hot, like I was getting overheated. So I'm guessing that some of you have been in some type of situation, or you're currently in a situation where you're feeling just very frustrated or flustered. Some of you extremely angry, because I was picking up on that as well. So let's see what's going on here, Taurus. This is full pull for the past position first. Five of Cups. That card just wants to keep on coming out. The Justice card in reverse. Okay, so in the past position we have the Five of Cups and the Justice card in reverse. So a lot of you had to let go of a situation where you were treated unfairly. So you were forced out of the situation and you were forced to grieve the loss of that situation. And I feel like a lot of you could still be holding on to that resentment, feeling like it's just not fair what you went through. It's not fair that you have to be surrounded by such sadness and grief because of this situation, when you were the person who was being honest, you were the person that was being genuine, and your intentions were pure. And it looks like the other person just did not have good intentions with you, and it looks like they ended the situation in a way that was very disrespectful to you, or they didn't give you any closure, or it was some type of betrayal. So I just feel like a lot of you feel like somebody owes you an apology, or you would like an apology from someone, or you would just like to see that person get the karma that they deserve. So like I said, I feel like a lot of you are very much holding on to this energy. And I'm a Taurus rising, so I understand that. We are very loyal to the people that we choose to be with, and when we get into a relationship or a friendship, or we commit to something, we have a tendency to think about it for the long term, and we will commit to that person or that situation for the long haul. And when that other person or the other people involved in that situation turn around and betray us, it's like we have a hard time letting that go, because we know that our intentions were so pure, and it's like, how could you do this to me when I had nothing but good intentions with you, you know? So I feel like a lot of you are just feeling very somewhat bitter, but I feel like it's justified. Like I feel like a lot of people, they see feeling bitter as something that you should be ashamed of, or you should not feel that way. And if you try to suppress that, I feel like you just feel it even worse. So I feel like feeling bitter, feeling angry, feeling resentful are emotions that are natural when somebody has done this to you and left you in this energy. And it's unrealistic, I think, to ask someone, especially a Taurus, to just get over it and stop being bitter, when we know that we put so much into it and we know that we were being genuine. So kind of a heavy energy for the past there, Taurus. So let's see for the present. Yeah, the energy that I'm feeling, it just feels kind of like, how do I explain the feeling? It's kind of like the image that I'm getting in my head is like sitting in your room in the dark, underneath your covers, and just kind of stewing in those feelings, like thinking back to what the person has done to you is playing over and over in your head, and you just can't believe that somebody could, or somebody that you thought so highly of, someone that you committed yourself to, could be that way towards you. It's like kind of like disbelief. It's like a very heavy energy. It could be, especially because the holidays are coming up, a lot of you could be reflecting on this situation or this person because the holidays are upon us. So it's normal to start thinking about people from your past, especially if you had long-term plans of being with them, and now it's like the holidays are rolling around and they're not around, and so inevitably you think about the reason that they're not around, and then you just get upset all over again. All right, Taurus, let's see for the present. Ten of Cups. The Ace of Wands and the Eight of Cups in reverse. Okay, so in the present moment, a lot of you, well, first of all, the Ace of Cups is at the bottom of the deck. So a lot of you are having a very hard time letting go of this situation. It's like the situation is over, but emotionally you're having a hard time getting it out of your mind, and you're having a hard time disconnecting from it. It's like you know that this person is no good for you, or you know the situation is no good for you, but it's like you feel like it keeps on pulling you back in no matter how much you try to move away from it. It's like you see something that reminds you of that person, or you hear something, you hear a song that reminds you, or you might possibly come across this person on social media. It's like something keeps on triggering your emotions and dragging you right back into the situation. And with the Ace of Wands being here and the Ten of Cups, I feel like a lot of you are really wanting to move away from this energy. You're wanting to get out of this energy of feeling bitter, of feeling hurt, of feeling stuck, because you know that those feelings will not lead you to this new beginning, to this happiness, to this joy and this fulfillment. You know that this energy has to be let go of first. But, sorry, that's so loud. It's in my kitchen. I can't even, it's not my house, so I don't even know how to turn that off. So, sorry if it's loud. But, like I was saying, you know that you have to somewhat let go of those feelings of bitterness and resentment in order for you to have this new beginning and to have this happiness. But I feel like some of you are just having a hard time doing so. For some of you, you have moved out of that energy. You are now feeling like you're ready to start over, and you are hopeful about the future, and you're hopeful about your love life. And you're understanding now that that person from your past or that situation was not going to give you happiness. It was not going to lead to this. So you're understanding and realizing that you had to let that situation go because that person ultimately would not have fulfilled you in the end. So I feel like I'm picking up on two groups of you. For some of you, it's like you're tempted to go back to that person, or your emotions just keep getting pulled back to that person because you thought this person was going to be like your happily ever after. You feel this passion for them that you don't feel for anybody else. And so in your mind, it's like, if I still feel this way towards them, this must be the person for me. And that's not always the case, especially if it's someone who was triggering to you, like they abandoned you in some way, so they, you know, opened up your abandonment wounds, or they opened up the wounding that you have that surrounds rejection. It's like if they did that, that's why you feel that strong pull towards them. It's not always that this person must be meant for me because of how attached I feel. Sometimes you're attached to them because they have traumatized you in some way, so you have a trauma bond with them. So sometimes it's difficult to tell the difference. But like I said, if they did something to you that kind of destroyed you emotionally and it made you feel even more intense feelings for them, that's how you'll know that you had a trauma bond with them and that it wasn't a genuine connection, that it was supposed to be long term. So like I said, I'm picking up on two different groups. Some of you are needing to break this trauma bond in order for you to start over and have this happiness in the long run. And the way that you break a trauma bond, I guess it would vary for different people, but mostly you kind of starve the trauma bond. Like you starve the thoughts, you starve the energy that's surrounding a trauma bond. Like whenever you start to think about that person, it's like observing your thoughts and then shifting them, not allowing them to like spiral, not checking their social media, not having any contact with them, and really focusing inward and focusing on building yourself from the ground up. And eventually that trauma bond will fall by the wayside. But the last thing you want to do is suppress the pain and hope that it will go away, because it won't. Especially if it's someone who woke up your abandonment issues or the wounds that were in you that were lying dormant, and they kind of like awakened them inside of you. The last thing you want to do is to suppress those heavy emotions again and then wait for the next person to come along and reawaken them again. It's like you might as well cure them now, or you might as well heal them and face them dead on now. So some of you should consider possibly going to therapy, and I only say that because the King of Swords is here. And I'm reading this energy as some type of therapist or someone who can give you some type of clarity and guidance that is less emotionally charged. It's like difficult for you to solve this issue, or it's difficult for you to really think clearly when it comes to the situation because your emotions are so invested. So you might need outside help from someone who is kind of like removed from the situation, who can think things through logically and who can lead you in the right direction. For some of you, like I said, you are out of that energy, that trauma bond energy, or you're out of that energy of feeling, abandoned, neglected, feeling like you got done wrong, and you are ready to start on your new path, and you are looking at your future with a lot of hopefulness and optimism is what I'm seeing. So that's positive. So let's pull 2 more for the month of December. Some of you could have met someone new, and you're thinking that this person could be someone that you could spend a long time with. Make sure that you're taking it slow, especially if you just got out of a situation where you possibly got your heart broken or you got hurt. Just take whatever new situation enters your life. Make sure you take it very slowly. I really hope the audio on this is going to be okay, because like I said, it's echoey in here, and then in the kitchen is like some appliance in there that's really, really loud, and I can't turn it off, so I'm hoping that the audio will be okay. Alright, let's look for December, Taurus. Yeah, that Justice in Reverse card, I'm getting a very hostile energy from that. I feel like a lot of you are extremely pissed off at this treatment from the past. And it could be like an accumulation of mistreatments, like not just this person. It could be you thinking about family members that have mistreated you, just past career opportunities, or like bosses, people at your job, and friends. It's like a lot of things piled up where you're just feeling like, why would these people treat me this way? You know how it's like, someone does something to you and then it reminds you of all the other people who have done that similar to you, and then you just get like infuriated because you know that you would never do that to those people. You would never betray those people or lie to them or abandon them. You know you wouldn't do that to them, and so it like infuriates you that they would do that to you. So that's what I'm picking up for that past energy. So a lot of you are just wanting those people from your past to get what they deserve, to get that karma, and they will, and they always do. A lot of people try to say that karma isn't a thing, and people don't receive karma, and that's a lie. I read energy for a living, and I'm here to tell you right now, karma actually is a thing, and you always do get exactly what is coming to you. You always get the energy that you put out, and it's not always about punishment, like, oh, you did something bad, so now you're going to be punished. Karma is more about balance. It's about, if you do something to someone, it's going to come back to you, because you have to understand what you put that person through. Because ultimately, we are all interconnected. So if you hurt another human being, you are hurting yourself. So in order for you to understand that, and for you to not do that again, that karmic energy is going to come right back around and teach you a lesson. And it doesn't have to be looked at as negative or as a punishment. It's really all about learning and growth. So you won't continue to hurt other people, which ultimately means you continue to hurt yourself. Okay, let's see for December. Well, the last half of December. 2 of Wands. Okay, Taurus. So we have the 2 of Wands here and the 6 of Cups. And again, I am a Taurus rising, so I understand this energy all too well. Some of you in December are going to be a bit stuck, feeling like you don't know which direction to go in, feeling like you don't know exactly how to bounce back from this and to move forward from this. So I feel like a lot of you are going to be reminiscing a lot, kind of stuck in the past, because it's like your path is clear for you to go forward now, but you don't know what you're going forward to. So you'd rather kind of cling to the past, or cling to the idea of the past. The thing about Taurus is, and again, I am a Taurus rising, is that we are fixed energy, so we can be very stubborn when it comes to what we want. It's like when we decide, this is what I want, nothing can change our mind. Like we have to be forcibly removed from it if it's not for us, because we will never leave. So I feel like that is possibly what happened here. And For a lot of you, you know, your path is clear in front of you now, but you are kind of, it's like bittersweet. Like you're happy that now you can start over, you can move forward, but a part of you is still trying to cling on to that past because whatever the situation was, you wanted it so badly. Some of you have kind of wrapped your identity up in that situation. Like you were in it for so long, you kind of don't even know who you are without it, you know? So in the month of December or for the rest of this year and moving into 2019, I feel like your challenge is going to be to look at exactly what you want out of your life. Like sit down and visualize what the perfect day would look like to you, the perfect week, the perfect month, what it would be like to have, you know, the perfect spouse, to have the perfect job, and to have peace and happiness in your life. And then start doing things and taking steps towards manifesting that into your reality, because then that gives you something to look forward to so you won't continuously cling on to the past. Because from what I'm seeing, this past situation was very lackluster anyway. It's like this past situation was I'm talking too fast, let me slow down. It's like this past situation was formed at a time where you were not at in a good state of mind. Like you could have met this person when you were already heartbroken over someone else, or you could have met this person when your self-esteem was low, and that's how you two connected based off of that. So connections that are built when you're at a low point, they usually do not progress to be something great or to be something long-term unless both people are willing to learn and grow. And it looked like you were willing to learn and grow, but it looked like the past or that situation, these people, that person, they have no interest in learning and growing. Their only interest is being selfish and making themselves happy and doing what makes them happy. And they don't really care about, you know, learning and growing, because the way that they are, like how selfish they are, it benefits them. So they don't care to learn and grow. So you kind of had no future with that person because they're stuck in a certain mindset, a very selfish kind of animalistic mindset of, I'm going to get my happiness and I don't care who I hurt in the process. And people like that, they're never really happy. Like they think they are. They think they're happy because, you know, they've used you and tossed you to the side and then move on to someone else. And it appears that they're happy, but deep down inside, they never really are, because people like that, you know, first of all, karma. They always get what's coming to them. But then second of all, think about the fact that hurt people hurt people. It's very rare that a happy, joyful person who's content with themselves and in life is going to just is going to blatantly just kind of toss you to the side. And I feel like that's how a lot of you are feeling, like you were kind of tossed to the side and kind of forgotten. And everybody has the right to move on when they want to, but if a relationship ends with you feeling devalued and you feeling confused and you feeling like you just taken like a beating, that means that that person did not handle the breakup the right way. They did not walk away with integrity, and you have every right to feel hurt and to feel bitter and angry about it. And a lot of people will tell you that that's not true. They'll say like, oh, you know, that people have the right, they don't owe you anything, and they act like you're not supposed to feel anything. That you're supposed to just be like, okay, fine, they don't owe me anything, I guess I'll just get over it. And yes, you should, you know, move forward and eventually get over it, but you have to honor the fact that you have been hurt and you have been devalued, and this was something that was important to you, and that's why it's difficult to walk away and to let it go. So my suggestion would be to take it one day at a time and start to build the life that you want, and start to mold yourself and shape yourself into the type of person that you want to be. And ultimately, this situation is giving you an opportunity to heal any wounds that you may have had that you didn't know that you had, that were suppressed, like any wounds surrounding abandonment or surrounding your self-esteem or your sense of self-confidence. All those things have been brought to the surface, with the Six of Cups being here. All that has been brought to the surface in order for you to heal, because ultimately those wounds were in you before you met this person or before this situation, so it was going to keep you stuck anyway. Like your path in life was already blocked because those wounds were present and you weren't aware that those wounds were present, or you weren't actively working on healing them. So now those wounds have been brought to the surface, and now you get an opportunity to heal them, and then your path in life will be genuinely clear, and you can genuinely manifest anything that you want into your life, because now you don't have that fear of abandonment holding you back, or you don't have that low self-esteem holding you back, you see. So a lot of you are going to be given the opportunity to create the life that you want. with this Nine of Pentacles. And for the first time, for a lot of you, you're going to be able to create this life on your own without feeling like you need, oops, is this in frame? Without feeling like you need a relationship, or without feeling like you need someone else outside of yourself to validate you. For once, all of your sense of self-worth, your happiness, and your abundance is going to come from within. And when it comes from within, that means no one can take it from you. So I'm going to clarify this card and get more deep into this in the extended, Taurus. So I will leave the link to the extended down below, and I'll be doing a second spread in the extended as well. So again, I will leave that in the description box down below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope it was helpful, and I will see you guys over on Vimeo.